And then, can you tell me what led up to you not working at the office anymore?
Um, okay, so what ended up happening was we had all went to New Orleans. We had all went down to New Orleans for what was it? It wasn't a Essence or anything like that. I think I want to say it was a Jack the Rapper or one of those kind of conventions or if not Jack the Rapper, it might have been I don't know if it was a Urban Network. It was one of those, the 3 day weekend things. So when we flew out there, midway on the plane, Jewell gets a magazine that they start passing around to us. And so in the magazine, it says that the dog pound is coming out next. So so she's like mad as fuck, like, I thought she had told me my album was coming out, this, that, to do. I'm like, Jewel, don't worry about it. Have a couple of drinks. We'll talk to relative when we get there, so on, so on. So by now we get to our hotel room. We just chilling, whatever. We seen one of my homeboys from New York. We went and gambled with him on one of the the boats, casino boats. So we went there, came back, just was doing our thing. So Suge ended up calling, like, y'all come through. So we went over to Suge's room, which he was at some other hotel. And we got over there to his room, and Jewel went in there to talk to him. Now, usually I was always the mediator between Jewel and Suge, because they could get, those fiery attitudes could get to going. So I used to be the mediator in between them because they could get fired. There's a video actually of them when Suge is on the stage and Jewel stands up from the crowd and basically gives it to him. So that's their thing all the time. It was always like that with them. But they were sister and brother, but had a lot of aggression alike. So, and I would be the mediator. So, when we got there and we went in the room, I guess I was high and it was fucking hot out there, that weather and shit. So I just sit down on Suge's couch. I didn't even go in the room with Jewel. So I guess I was dozing off, and all I hear is Jewel like, that's fucked up. And I woke up, and I hear like, oh, relative. I hear him, and they going back and forth, and she like, that's fucked up. Blam, and just slammed the door. Didn't even tell me to come on, right? So I'm just sitting there like, just woke up out my sleep. I'm looking at that door where Suge was. I'm looking at this door where Jewel was. So I'm like, oh fuck, which door do I go to? And I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like the Suge door today. So I didn't go to Suge door. I went to Jewel door. So when we go out, Jewel's just super hot. She's mad about everything. I'm like, Jewel, don't worry about it. You got songs on the Dog Pound album and boop, boop, boop. You'll be next after that. It's kind of putting you back out there. But he told me, I know, okay, but you got more songs to get. You got to finish up some stuff. Maybe it's some more, producers or anything you want to get with. But in the meantime, you could be doing other things. You're such a great writer. So we talked about the things. So a friend of mine's ended up hitting me and telling me that's when Mike Tyson had just got out of jail from when he had went to jail for the rape stuff. So a friend of mine had called and said, they given a some kind of parade or somewhere. They was doing something in Harlem or something for Mike Tyson. So me and Jewel ended up going to New York for Mike Tyson or whatever. So we had a hotel room and stuff. We were staying there. I mean, lushed out hotel. Michael Jordan, everybody in our hotel. We balling in the 90s. You know what I mean? We got fly suite. Mike came by and seen us. So after the little thing they did for him in the day, he was having an event. So he ended up, I don't know how that happened, but me and Jewel ended up kind of like running the shit or whatever type of shit for the party. Jewel's at the door and she's doing the pat down. And I'm like letting everybody in, and Jewel wants to do the pat down because she wants to pat the guys on the you know what. So all I know is I see a crowd of people at the door, and I'm like, what's going on? So I come to the door and it's Puff. He like, Lashelle, tell Jewell she tripping. Jewell got Puffy just standing at the door, not really like letting him in or whatever. And then he like, what? You know, like, I'm like, Jewell, because she trying to pat niggas down. I'm like, Jewell, let them in. So she like, all right, you know I was messing with you, Puff. So they came on in, whatever, whatever. So, you know, we hollering at Puff about, you know, what he doing. He's like, oh, okay, I'm working with, I'm in the studio working with Total and so on and so on. And, you know, woo, woo, woo. And I was like, well, hey, Puff, you know, Jewell is a hell of a writer. You know what I mean? Don't trip. Jewell is a hell of a writer. Maybe she could come in there and see. He was like, shit, I don't mind. You know, hit me up tomorrow and we'll see what's up. Boom, 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 boom. So we get back to the room. One of the girls that, another girl that I had ended up getting a job for at Death Row, but I got her a job at the studio. She was the receptionist at the phone at the studio. So I ended up talking to her, and so, you know, by now, everybody from Death Row has flew back home. Now we're in New York, you know, all Death Row is going back to LA. So, but me and Jewell, we are over in New York now. So, I talked to the girl on the phone. She like, what you doing? I'm like, nothing. Shit, we just chilling out here in New York. We went to the club, you know, bam, bam, bam. We been hanging out with Mike Tyson, the boop, 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 boop. We ran in the Puff. Shit, they was talking about, he was saying that Total was in the studio doing some stuff. Me and Jewell may slide by there tomorrow and see what's up about her writing some songs for them. The boom, 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 the bam, bam, bam. Okay, that was that night, you know. Boom, go to sleep. My phone rings, right? Early in the morning, I'm still kind of on LA time, so, you know. But they wake me up and I'm like, hello? And it's one of my peoples. So he like, yo. I'm like, what? He like, that nigga Suge called Puff asking him, was he trying to buy Jewell's album? I'm like, what the fuck? Where the hell that came from? I don't know, but he called that nigga saying with the boo boo boo. So I called Suge like, what the fuck you talking? What you calling me? Yeah, relative, you and Jewell out there trying to sell Jewell album to Puff. I said, hell no, where the hell that came from? So then I'm like, that bald head bitch, right? Because at the time she was wearing her hair short, the girl. So I'm like, that bald head bitch. I know she didn't tell Suge we out here selling the album, and that's not what I said. So I'm like, look, Suge, we did not say that we was selling no motherfucking album. Jewell was talking about going to the studio and doing some work like that. And boom, boom, boom. Blam. That was it. So told him that. So when we came back from New York, now the story is Lashelle and Jewell is in New York and they're trying to sell the album to Puffy. So now they on the enemy sides. This is what quote unquote that just went down. So I'm dying laughing like, what the fuck? You know, like, who says this? You know, or whatever, whatever. So Jewell talking shit to him. She don't give a fuck. She talking shit. So I ain't saying too much of nothing. So by now, pretty much, Kim don't work there because I think the Simone shit had probably happened by then. I don't know if Kim's still there. I'm trying to think. By then, when we come back, I don't know. I think Dee Dee might have still been there. My other friend that came with me. So basically, I wasn't really tripping. My whole thing is, I'm a comedian. I came and I worked at Death Row because it was, you know, I was making me some money while doing my shit. And Suge always kept telling me, relative, you come work with me, I'm going to look out for you for your comedy stuff. And whoop, whoop, you know, because I was out doing my stuff as far as going to the comedy stores and doing that kind of shit. I had been doing that way before the Death Row thing even popped off. So Death Row didn't make me. I was already out doing my shit way before Death Row and hanging out with artists and shit way before Death Row even had artists. Death Row wasn't even thought of. So that part didn't matter to me. So, you know, this was more about Jewell because this was her record label. This is where she was signed to. So this needs to pop for her. So By now, it's time for the Source Awards to come. So they all like, okay, they going to the Source Awards. So Jewell like, I ain't going with them. But mind you, are people from New York that we was cool with, that wasn't Puff, just a guy from New York that we was cool with, was like, y'all come on out here, I got some tickets, and boom, boom, boom. I said, hell no, because all them niggas is coming out there from there, and then if we come out there and they see us with y'all, first thing, with some New York motherfuckers, first thing they gonna say is, oh, y'all trying to be with them, and whoop the boop, boop, boop. So we ain't going to shit. So who did go was my sister, my oldest sister. She was still working, and she's my play sister, but it's just like we blood. She was still working there, her and the bald head bitch. So they goes to the awards. The bald head bitch do three much and sit next to what's the rapper Chris Webber. She sit next to him and do the basketball player and do three much and woo woo woo. By the time she get back, should have done fired damn near everybody. So she got fired. My sister decided to quit. It was just, it was just basically one of those things. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Where it
Yeah.
pretty much did nobody talk about it, no nothing. Jewell was doing her shit, and I just started, doing my comedy shows and just didn't go back. And then pretty much after that, they end up leaving that office anyway. So